Hello everyone. I mentioned this in a discussion post the other day, but I'm finally here to make the video about the bricks and minifigs situation because I'm kind of passionate about it. It's a very interesting thing and it made me mad. So if you don't know, there's this company called Bricks and Minifigs, and they resell collections of Legos. For people who, like, if you have a collection, you can give it to them and they will sell it and you can get profit off of it. By the way, this company is not owned by Lego and is not Bricks and Beyond, because Bricks and Beyond got a lot of hate because people thought it was Bricks and Minifigs. So a man by the name of Brian Mansell made an agreement with Bricks and Minifigs to sell a collection of Legos that he owned. It was estimated that this collection was around 200,000, but I don't believe that's true. I think it's lower than that. I think CoffeeZilla made a video about it and it was revealed that's not actually 200,000, but either way, it cost money and he gave it to them, and they were supposed to sell it and give him some of the profit. Long story short, they did not honor this deal, and now we have entered a dramatic climax of lawsuits, silencing, and corruption. I'm not going to go too into depth on how Bricks and Minifigs stole these Legos and like everything that happened. I want you guys to watch Reckless Ben's 2 videos on the situation. I think Zevi also does a good background, but you're really going to get most of the information from Reckless Ben. But I will talk a little bit about Reckless Ben and how he stepped in and like what happened when he did step in. He basically tried over and over again in a pretty respectful way to get the Legos back to Brian Mansell so that Bricks and Minifigs would honor the deal they made with him. But the manager of the store in which Brian's collection was in was not really being very, what's the word, collaborative, I guess, or like willing to help Reckless Ben and his team. And even the CEO was in on it. He was repeatedly lying to them about what happened. Even though, yeah, they know that they have Brian's collection and they haven't given it back, nor has Brian gotten the money, but the CEO was like, nope, we never did that, basically. Now, later on, Reckless Ben ends up confronting Josh Johnson, who lives in Utah. Now, Reckless Ben ends up confronting this guy named Josh Johnson, who is affiliated with the company. I'm pretty sure he's on a high level, like, in the company. I don't really remember exactly what role he fills, but he is associated with the company. Now, Josh lives in Utah, and Utah is pretty well known for Mormonism and its Mormon culture. Now, I definitely try to respect other people's religions. Like, I'm not gonna go up to someone and be like, you're wrong, like, you're so incorrect about that. But one thing I will say about Mormonism is that it can get really culty sometimes, and that is going to be important later on. So Reckless Ben, of course, ended up like filing a lawsuit, so he had to serve court papers to Josh about this, but instead of taking them, Josh repeatedly called the cops on Ben. Now, this isn't considered harassment because you do technically have to serve papers in person. So it wasn't like he was just doing this for fun, like coming to his house for no reason. He had to serve the papers. But of course, Josh and the police were making this impossible. Like, I mean, this guy had the police call him like so many times in one day. It's crazy. When interacting with the police, there were multiple incidents of unlawful search and seizure and other crazy things. Like, at one point, they framed Reckless Ben with having heroin. Like, they were like, oh yeah, we got a call that you have heroin in your car, and they search his car. Again, unlawful search and seizure, and like, he didn't have heroin, so that was clearly just a lie made up to make Ben, like, back off. They were even trying to stop him from making a GoFundMe for Brian, which is crazy, because if you're not gonna give us the money, like, why can't we at least get it somewhere else? Again, there is a reason why I talked about Mormonism and how it's kind of important to what was going on here. The police that were called repeatedly on Ben, a lot of them were Mormon. Josh is Mormon, the CEO is Mormon, and clearly, like I said, it gets a little culty sometimes, so the police probably were not there multiple times just because they were suspicious of Ben. It probably had to do with the fact that they were protecting their own in a way. They were trying to protect members of their own religion instead of actually trying to figure out a crime, which is terrible, because when you think about it, when people who are supposed to enforce the law or are in a place of power are breaking the law or not actually enforcing the law, that's dangerous for citizens who do not have that power. Unfortunately, this has become a big lawsuit, and because of it, Reckless Ben has not really been able to speak about this company or what has happened anymore. Like I said, he's been silenced. He's not allowed to release part 3 because he made, I think, 3 parts of like his whole investigation. Part 3, he's not able to upload it on YouTube because he's not allowed to talk about it anymore. And of course, Brian still hasn't gotten his collection back. Essentially, Bricks and Minifigs still is holding on to the money they stole from him. Good news though, I did hear that the restraining order against Reckless Ben has been altered, so he may be more able to speak on these things now and might possibly be able to upload part 3 soon. I'm not completely sure the extension of the way it's been altered, but hopefully he will be able to release the 3rd part of his video series so we can really see the corruption in this company and the police force. Second part of the good news, Bricks and Minifigs has basically lost a lot, like all their credibility because of this situation. Now everybody sees how evil they are, which that's not very good for business. I think it's kind of ironic that their greed over this 200,000 may end up with them losing the entire company. I'm not sure if it'll go that far, but this kind of has gone pretty viral, so yeah, maybe they should have just gave him back the Legos. But in all, please offer your support to Reckless Ben and Brian Mansell. I recommend, again, watching Reckless Ben's videos. I think those, again, are the best place to understand the full story and what is happening. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.